Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a little different from usual in that we're actually canning, so it's preserving food. Now, these aren't ingredients out of my garden, but I'm kind of just practicing a little bit, learning to can. And also, I just want some really good salsa. So, just to get started with the equipment we need for canning, it's going to be water bath canning. So, we've got a canner here, which is basically just a large pot with this metal insert that goes in to hold trays. We have this canning toolkit, and I'll put links in the description for where you can buy all of these, which consists of a funnel to make our jars easier to fill, a little scraper with measurements on the end, just once again makes measuring easier, and this kind of tong like doohickey that is used later for lifting the jars out of boiling water without burning my hands, hopefully. Plus we've got our jars. At the moment I've got 7 jars. I think that's what this recipe is going to end up filling. Jar bands that came with the jars. And jar lids. The jar lids can only be used once, and I'm not sure which old ones I've used or not, so I'm just pulling them straight out of the package. Plus obviously knife for cutting veggies. And the veggies, I've got an onion, probably won't use all of that, a pound of jalapenos, 5 pounds of Roma tomatoes, a couple cherry tomatoes that actually came out of the garden, we'll throw that in, some lime juice, some salt, some coffee, and I've got a blender that I'm going to use to kind of blend the stuff all up. Now, you can look at various recipes online, but the key thing here is your vegetables overall need to be acidic. I'm going to slice these up. How many do I have? Yeah, let's just slice up 2 and see how it goes. I'm going to leave all of the seeds in these because I like stuff hot. I'm not making this too precise because I don't need to be particularly precise. I'm just cutting the stem here off. They're kind of weird seeds. I think these were a hybrid plant. Put one of those. Compost that later. And you can kind of play with your veggies. A lot of people will treat this as like a magic ritual that you have to exactly follow. The main thing for water bath canning is your veggies need to be slightly acidic. And as long as you've got more tomatoes than everything else, you should come out very acidic, and it's not really a concern. Compost that later. And I'm not being particularly fussy about how these get cut, because I'm going to run them through a blender in a second anyways. I'm just kind of cutting them a little bit so it's easier to run through the blender. If you put big chunks in the blender, you tend to end up with big chunks spinning around the top of the blender, not actually going through the blades. And you could be fancying core out your tomatoes and all that. I'm too lazy too. Okay, I'm going to core a little bit out. I'm just taking off the end of the stem. So that tomato's about 6 parts. Let's just throw that in. 3 tomatoes in. Just putting it in my compost trash bin. Normally that lives outside. But since I've got so much that's going to get composted out of here. Oh, and to make it taste better, throw some salt in. That's probably too much salt. As you can tell, I'm being extremely specific with the measurements. And let's throw in some cherry tomatoes. Because this is about all that came out of the garden this year. And some of them are still green, but hey, why not? I gotta use them for something. Might as well be salsa. That's stem. One. Oh, I was gonna put in a little bit of lemon juice, just for flavoring. Yeah, this is commercial lemon juice. Lemon juice a little bit. Adjust the pressure. And that just pulverized the bottom and left the top not moving. So push these down a little bit so they go into the blades. Yeah, that's not. Oh, turn that off. And I'm just going to put like 2 caps full of lemon juice in here. It's going to add a little acidity. It's also going to add some flavor. Okay, let's call that good enough. It's mostly liquid. Now I'm going to put the cover on. Let's pour that in, see how much we get. This is supposed to knock the air bubbles out. I don't know if it actually does. Let's try. I'm just putting those in the other cans because I'm going to can the other cans anyways. Oh. There you go. Now I want that filled to be about a ½ inch from the top, which is about where it is. I'm going to let that sit though just to see if the air bubbles come out. Keep filling. Got some more veggies. If anyone's wondering how spicy this salsa is going to be, I have no idea. We'll find out when it comes out. Oh, let's just run it. Oh. Little lemon juice, little salt. Probably too much salt, but it's going to help preserving the food, and it tastes good. So let's roll the skin on sweet shop. Turn that off. Just push things down into the blades a little. good enough. Yeah. I'm worried about the number of bubbles in that thing. Oh, it smells good. What I'm measuring here is to make sure that I've got a ½ inch of space on the top. I'm going to take a couple of measurements because it's not perfect around. Oh, looks close enough. 2 jars. So I'm going to actually cap these now so I don't knock them over. Lids. So I'm using genuine ball jars, genuine ball lids, genuine ball bands. I think the tools even are ball, but I'm not 100% sure. Mostly because I just don't trust the Chinese generic ones to actually seal. Just putting a lid on each. And these lids are something, since they're single use, you just kind of want to look every time you go to a hardware store or Tractor Supply or Walmart or grocery stores and just see what they've got in stock for lids. Because they tend to vary in price significantly depending on what time of year you look and what areas you're in. Because I've seen them going for as high as $1 a lid locally during harvest season. And on the other side of the country, my mother was seeing them for like a third of that at the same time because it wasn't harvest season where she was. Okay, let's get some space now. Okay, camera stopped. Hope it's still recording. Yeah, you'll notice I didn't pre-sterilize these cans. The main reason for that is to pre-sterilize, you need to put them in boiling water for 10 minutes. They're about to be in boiling water for 15 minutes for the canning process, so there's really no reason to. And if you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment. I'll probably ignore it, and the YouTube algorithm likes comments, so go for it. Cutting the stem off. Just can go over there. It's a good thing we can edit and fast forward this, because otherwise this is going to be a boring video. Okay, apparently my canner can only hold 6 jars, so we're going to take this last jar, and instead of putting a regular lid on it, we're going to get one of these lids. And Ball makes these, it's supposed to be a spill-proof lid. We're just going to put a lid on that. And I'm going to have those on my tacos for breakfast tomorrow morning. And come over. You can see here's my jars all in there, And that needs to be put on the stove and covered in boiling water. Now I'm going to cheat when it comes to boiling water and use that to get it boiling. Yes, this is just a simple Black & Decker water heater. So, putting the canner on the stove. It's going to run for 15 minutes. Depending on your altitude, you may need to run it longer. I'm 514 feet above sea level, so I'll need to run this for 15 minutes, and I do need to buy flood insurance. And while I wait for the water to boil, I'm just going to be cleaning up in the background. More water than I thought. And now let's wait for that to boil. My canner is boiling. So I'm going to start a 15-minute timer and drink some more coffee. 10 minutes later, battery on my other camera died, but we are boiling. And that's hot. Yeah, let's grab a pot holder hot. We're starting to boil. Not as vigorous as I'd like. And we got a problem. So, yeah, it's going to be a mess later. It looks like here, the jar that failed, and I mean, this is a genuine ball jar. The entire bottom came off. So that's kind of unexpected. I have no idea how much glass might be in this water. So when these come out, I'm just throwing out and, washing the outside and throwing that out. All of that's just going to get thrown out. And since I don't fully trust that the process is completing correctly, these jars are going to go in the fridge to keep them cool instead of normally canned jars you could leave in the pantry at room temp. I just don't trust this. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. I am just going to turn the stove off. Ooh, foggy lens. And let that cool before I try to take them out. Okay. See what's good. Not sure if you can see that, but the lid is sitting right down there. Or it's not the lid, the bottom. Can't easily get it out, but definitely down there. Kind of annoying. Smells good though. So that definitely didn't go the way I was expecting, but I ended up with 5 cans of salsa plus the one in the fridge that's still fresh. This separation down here, where the bottom is a different color, is perfectly normal. When we take this out, just mix it with a spoon and it's back to normal. On the flip side, this kind of separation, not so normal. I'm not actually sure what happened there, but it looks like I only lost one.